Hi, I'm Madison and welcome to my channel. Today I have a massive book unhaul for you. So I'm in the process of moving states for work, and as a result I'm unhauling a bunch of my books because I'm trying to really cull down my bookcases. That being said, this is going to be my main unhaul that I'm going to do off the bat, and then over the next couple of weeks I'll probably get rid of another 30 or 50 books from my shelves. I just haven't figured out the rest yet. This is my initial 200 books that I'm going to either be selling or donating. Yes, let's get into this because I'm filming this actually at, guess what, 4 in the morning. I know, don't ask me why. There's a lot that goes into this. We're not going to talk about it. So I'm not going to go too into depth about any of these books. I'm literally just going to show you them, because even if I spend like 30 seconds on a book, it's still going to take me ages to get through 200 books. And this doesn't need to be long. I don't need to really explain why I'm getting rid of the books. I just am. So basically, first off, we've got Scandalized here by Ivy Owens. Where am I putting these after I've done this? Oh, did not think this through, did I? You know what? At this point, I don't really care, okay? It's been a nightmare as it is. Then we have got Yours Truly the Duke by Amelia Gray, and then we have How to Best a Marquess by Janet McGregor. My main thing is I'm no longer really collecting historical romances. I've stopped. I'm just reading them as I read them, and if I love them really a lot, sure, I'll buy them, but I stopped collecting them. I collected my historical romances a bunch during the beginning of COVID, and then it became a whole thing. We've got Shipped by Angie Hockman, which I did really enjoy, but that's just an art copy. We've got The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory. I've had this on my TBR for years. Have not read it. If anything's here has been on my TBR for more than 2 years and I haven't picked it up, I don't think I'm gonna pick it up anytime soon, you know what I mean? Like, that's my biggest thing with getting rid of any of these. I said I wasn't gonna give you guys an explanation, and I am. My biggest thing is that if they've been on my shelf for 2 years and I have not picked it up, the odds of me picking it up are slim to none. Like, I very rarely will go back and pick up a book brand new if you know what I mean? Like, if I buy it brand new and I read it, yeah, great. But otherwise, if I buy a book, put it on my shelf, the odds of me going back to read it are like slim to none, you know? So we've got Not That Kind of Guy by Andy J. Christopher. We've got To Marry to Meddle. I actually really enjoyed this book, but this is just my art copy. We've got Killer Looks by ᴛɪᴛᴛᴇʀ. We've then got How to Love Your Neighbor by Sophie Sullivan. We have got Not the Witch You Wed by April Asher. I've got The Marriage Game by Sarah Desai. I've got Booked on a Feeling by J.C. Lee. We've got Veiled by Karina Halley. I feel like I should move this up a bit more. There we go. Fearless and Filthy by Tia Louise. I don't really know what I'm doing with this whole stacking situation, but you know what? It's fine. We've got Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Dunmore, which I feel like I would like, but I also have not even read a historical romance in like over a year. We've got The Charm Offensive by Alison Cochrane, which I really enjoyed this, but this is just an art copy, and I don't need to keep arcs anymore. That's like another big difference about like my life lately. We've got Not the Girl You Marry by Andy J. Christopher. Then we have got Billionaire Boss Hole by Laura Lee, and also The Secret by Kristen Proby. We've got The Sizzle Paradox by Lily Menon. I've got Something in the Air by Susan Enoch, which I was on the fence about, but, you know. The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa. And we've got The Right Swipe by Alicia Rai. And then I've got Hall of Smoke by H.M. Long, which I was also a bit on the fence about. We've got Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. Know Your Average Hot Guy by Gwenda Bond. We've got Head Over Heels by S.L. Scott. Best I Ever Had by S.L. Scott. This does seem like a book I'd really like and enjoy, but this cover's just like not it. So if I do really want to read it, I'll just read it normal. The Dating Dare by J.C. Lee. Got So We Meet Again by Suzanne Park. A Guide to Just Being Friends by Sophie Sullivan. All of these are a mixture of books that I have read and haven't read and all that kind of stuff. Oh, I forgot that I did. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. I actually might keep this. Sorry. That was not supposed to be there. We've got Lady Rusgrave Manor, which I'm actually going to do a giveaway for because I just ended up with a second copy, and so I just want to do that. We've got Another Christmas from Hell, Magical Midlife Crisis by K.F. Breen, and then My Lucky Number 13 by Piper Rain. I've got Filthy Sinner by Serena Ackroyd, and then I've got Rich Prick by, I don't ever know how to say this author's name, and then also The Heartache Duet by Jay McLean. These are two things that I am selling because these are special editions. I did not think any of this through at all. Okay. Then Came You by Iris Morland. The Donut Trap by Julie Chu. Still feel like I don't like where this camera angle is. Yeah, I'm gonna keep playing with this until I'm literally happy with it. I just feel like I feel like I was so far away. We've got If I Never Met You by Mari McFarland. No Words by Meg Cabot. Please don't fall over. Never Fall for Your Fiance by Virginia Heath. I already knew what that one was. Heart of a Monster by Cheyenne Rose. I've got Honor by Melissa Allen. I really have no idea how I'm stacking any of this stuff right now. This makes negative sense. Catalyst by Nicole Fanning. I've got The Brit by Jodie Allen Malpass. I know everyone's going to say that I'm going to love this book. I'm sure I will. I just have owned it for many years now, and there are so many other mafia romances that I could pick up anyway. We've got Rock Addiction by Nalini Singh. And then we have the entirety of the Jock Hard series by Sarah Nay. These are the Hello Lovely box editions that I did get the scratch and dent versions of, so I'm just going to be reselling these because I'm never going to read these. Don't know how I'm going through this at all. Well, you know what? Fuck it, I'll figure it out. We'll figure this out slowly. None of this was a good idea. We've got The Right That Got Away by K.A. Lind. And then we've got Right With Benefits by K.A. Lind. I read this, I didn't really enjoy it, so I'm just not gonna bother with the rest of the series. This series by Helen Hart, which I have kept onto just in case I would like it, but I just don't think I'm ever actually gonna get around to it, so it's not happening. Then we've got Truth Witch by Susan Dennett. Here are a bunch of special editions that I'm going to be reselling. So the first of which is The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson. I just don't read space fantasies. We've got Portrait of a Thief by Grace D. Lee. Also a really big part of this is just that like I don't read as much like YA or adult straight fantasy anymore, and if I do, like it's very like specific if I do pick it up, so why keep it on my shelf? Seven Devils by Elizabeth May and Laura Lamb. We've got The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah, which is, you know, it does suck because like, you know, obviously these are like pretty editions of books that I do own, but I don't want to keep things on my shelves just because they're pretty if I haven't read. That's why I'm so particular nowadays about buying special edition books. I'll only buy special editions of books I actually have read and things like that, and no longer just like, I'm actually going to be changing up my regular subscription services for all of my book boxes just because I'm not reading anything that comes in them anymore. That's just not how I read. The Once and Future Witches by Alex C. Harrow. I've held on to this edition for years just because the red is such a pretty colour. My Book of the Month edition of A River Enchanted. I just don't want the Book of the Month edition of it. City of Nightmares by Rebecca Schaefer. I literally just got this in my fairy loot and I was like, I have no interest in this book. The Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd Jones, which is, you know, pretty again. They're all pretty. This one's really pretty. This is The Spice Road. Look at that. That's really nice. Daily Education by Naomi Novik. I've been meaning to sell this for like years now. We've got The Ones We Burn by Rebecca Mix, which had like kind of interesting ombre edges. And then I have this Scattered Showers short stories by Rainbow Rowell. I'm now going to pick up this and put this somewhere else since I will be selling them, so I can figure that out later. Alright, okay, let's keep going. This is going to be a journey. We've Give Me a Reason by A.L. Jackson. I read this, I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, so I'm like, meh. Say It's Forever, which is like the sequel to it. Don't think I'll get to it. Getting Schooled by Emma Chase. I read this back in 2021 and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It was fine. Fearless by Abby Brooks. Saucy Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I already own this in hardcover. I don't need it in paperback as well. Dustlands Blood Red Road. I bought this because Books and Lala did a video about how she loved it and I just have never read it ever since buying it like 4 or 5 years ago. City of Bones, I already own these in regular editions. This is just one that I was sent from the publishers of like the new editions, and I just don't need multiple editions of that book. Bone Maker by Sarah Beth Durst. Dune, I was going to read this before the movie came out and then watch the movie, so I'm never going to read the book. The X-Hex by Erin Sterling. With Obsession and Lies, I tried to read this. I did not like it. I got that far in and was like, I'm DNFing it. I got the last one on the list by Amy Dawes. I read that, give it 3 out of 5 stars. Never Rescue a Rogue by Virginia Heath. Just not interested in that, I didn't like the first book in the series. Mafia Prince by V. Carter, just not interested in this book. American Royalty by Tracy Livesey. The graphic novel of After by Anna Todd. Got 2 arcs here that I'm going to try and trade online, which is Afterworlds by Scott Westfield and All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater. Then we've got this series here by Laura Lynn Page. I was sent this 3 years ago now. I never read it, and I don't think I'm going to ever read it because it's been 3 years. We have The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reid. I own the Illumicrate edition of this, so I don't need a second one. No the Ninth, I own like 3 editions of this. I do not need the regular edition. Air Awakens by Liz Craver. I think I would love this. I'm never going to get around to it. All the Ties and Fate by Adeline Grace. I kept this because my name's in the acknowledgements because I was on a street team, but I don't need it. Kiss of Deception. I've kept this since I literally bought it back in 2016. No. Yeah, 2016 I've owned this. Never got around to reading it. Was going to do a whole reading vlog about it. Didn't. And don't think I will. Throne Bakers by Rebecca Coffindaffer. I really do the first book in this series. Should read the second one, but I don't know. I just don't think I'm actually going to ever get to it. I actually did enjoy it as like a sci-fi like YA book, but it's been so long since I read the first book, you know. We had The Winner's Curse. I was going to do a reading vlog about this as well. I bought this for $3 at half price books. If I decide to do the reading vlog again, I can probably buy it for $3 on eBay. Same thing with The Program. This was like back in 2019, 2020 when I was going to do a bunch of different like reading vlogs, and COVID hit and all my plans just kind of went out the window. Hush and Veil by Dylan Farrow, which, you know, I enjoyed when I first read, but never going to get back to. City of Dusk by Tara Sim, which, I mean, probably is a good book, but I'm never going to read that. Blood March by Tracy Dion. I want the paperback, so it matches my paperback editions. I just don't want the hardcover. Real Nations by Anthony Reynolds. I really did want to read this because it's like a whole League of Legends book. But I also, like, don't think I'm ever actually going to get around to this. Then we have the Rose Canyon series by Corinne Michaels. So I already own these, all signed, so I don't need a second set. So I'll probably do a giveaway on Instagram or something about this. I don't know. That I will just literally donate it. I'm lazy. I will probably just end up donating them. This is The Society by Ivy Smoke. That I Hitched by Avery Maxwell. I actually do want to read this, but I'm also just like not super into this cover. I feel like I'd rather just wait until like a discreet cover comes out or something and I can just read this on my Kindle. We have Rise and Ignite by Cassandra Robbins. I've had this on my TBR for 3 years. I haven't got to them yet, and so I don't think I'm going to. Getting Real by Emma Chase. I said earlier I didn't like one of the other books in this series, so I just don't think I would continue on with it ever. We've then got The Good Samaritan by R.C. Bolt. We have Mama's Boy and Neanderthal by Avery Flynn. Then I've got The Devil I Don't Know by L.K. Shaw. All the Little Things by Rachel Lee, which I was actually going to read at one point almost. Tutoring the Player by Richard Jenshak. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. I didn't really like it. Then we've got Mexican Gothic Book of the Month edition by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I do want to read this, but I want to listen to an audiobook, so I don't really need the Book of the Month edition. Wit and Wisdom of Bridgerton. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I've got The Honeys by Ryan LaSala. I've got This Man Badly by Samantha Markham. I've got You've Reached Sam by Dustin Thau. Then I've got Lies Crown by Abigail Owen. I've got 3 Kisses, 1 Midnight, which is an anthology. I'm never going to read an anthology. Throw Me to the Wolves, which is like a special edition I got in Unplugged Book Box. It's just I don't know, it doesn't my cup of tea. I got 2 arcs here. I've got Girl, Serpent, Thorn and Honey and Spice. I've had this Archaea for like years, and I have no idea like why I've even had it for so long. So we've got A Stone in the Sea by A.L. Jackson, which I was tempted to keep, not gonna lie, but I don't have the space anymore for books. It's not even funny, like I literally have to cull down my bookcases so much just because I've got so many and I just don't have anywhere to put it all. So, you know, here we are. Same thing, like this series I feel like I'd actually probably maybe like, but it's a Broken series by Stella Gray. Just because they look so pretty and I don't really want them. Oh, I don't know, these, yeah, I don't know. I was on the fence about these for a while. Then I have got Arrivals by Piper Lawson. This is set in high school. I don't really like that. I've got Take the Lead by Alexis Daria. I've got some more books here by Laurel and Page. They're just like 2 different series. I've got 2 special editions here. I've got Princess of Souls by Alexandra Christo and also The Ivory Key by Akshaya Raman. And again, I need to stop my subscription because I don't read YA fantasy anymore. I've got an arc here of Skybreaker, I've got an arc of Beasts of Prey, I've got an arc here of The Project, I've got an arc here of Aphrodite and the Duke. Isn't all my arcs? Yeah. An arc of Spellbound by F.T. Lukens, an arc of The Drowned Woods, an arc of The Poison Season, an arc of For Better or For Worse, an arc of Seven Faceless Saints. I already actually have this as a physical copy. I've got my Fairy Lit edition, so I don't really need that. Mistakes Were Made by Meryl Weisner. Vanessa Jared's Got a Man by ԼaQuette. And I've got The Makeup Test by Jenny L. Howe, which I actually did really want to read, but then I saw my friends, no one else actually really enjoyed it that much, so I'm like, well, probably won't either. Did I just get through it all? No, I got one left. How am I going to get to this one though? Alright. Almost there. Next we have Defy the Night by Bridget Camera. This is my Fairy Lit edition. I read the first book, I never even read the second one, and then I never bought the special edition of the second one, so I'm just going to resell this one. We've got Blood Scion by Deborah Fillet. We've got Heart of Thorns by Brie Barton. I've actually held on to this since it came out, one of my very first Fairy Lits in 2018. I've had hold on this since 2018 and I just have never picked it up. So I'm never going to, if it's been since then. Same thing with The Bright and the Pale. I just refuse to get rid of them because I'm like that. I've got Luminous by Mara Rothbard. I gave it like a 3 out of 5 stars. I've got all my Adrian Young books because I have not read a single Adrian Young book since Sky in the Deep, which I did enjoy Sky in the Deep. It came out right when I started my, YouTube channel. It was a whole thing, I did enjoy it, but I've literally never picked up any of her other books ever since then, despite owning all of them, so I don't think that's gonna happen. Not Even Bones. Held on to this for years thinking I was gonna read it and I never did, so it's not gonna happen. The Witch Haven. I'm just no longer interested in that. Cold the Night, Fast the Wolves, and Silent the Storm, Fierce the Flame by Meg Long. µaxmonroebooks, I've got Single Dad Seeks Juliet, and also Taming Hollywood's Baddest Boy. We've got The Beholder, which is another book that I've held on to since like 2018. Definitely not reading that, clearly. Sisters Grimm, another one I've held on to since 2018 because it looks really dope and it's a sick edition, but have I read it? No. Edgewood by Kristen Cicerelli, who is an author I do enjoy, but I'm probably not going to read that. I've got A Ruinous Fate here, which I am mildly tempted to keep. I might look up reviews for this one, but my copy is also covered in moss from the mailing that they sent. Then I've got Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, which I already own, like, the special edition from Fairy Loot, so I don't really need this edition here as well, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need like 5 editions of a damn book, so. I have All of Us Villains by Amanda Foody and Christine Lynn Herman, which I just have never picked up. I've got all the books from the Raven Boys because I read the first one a couple of years ago. I did a whole reading vlog for it and then was like, oh, maybe I'll read them all for a vlog, so I enjoyed it. It's now been like 4 years and I never filmed it, so I don't think that vlog's ever gonna happen, therefore I'm not gonna keep it. Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I was also going to do a vlog reading this for the first time, but I just have no actual interest in reading Caraval, to be quite honest with you, and that whole series. I don't know why. Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. I'll probably read this someday. Someday is not going to be anytime soon. Then we've got this series that I got here from Zoe Blake that are like these dark romances that I kind of peeked at and don't really seem like my kind of cup of tea. Then I've got The Secret Garden of the ᴛᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ, which is another book that I got in the Unplugged book box thing, which I just don't think I'm going to read that. Some more special editions. I got The Devil Makes Three here, as well as An Arrow to the Moon. I've then got Havenfall, as well as Year of the Reaper as special editions. Saint, I've got another Adrian Young that's popped itself up here. And then last but not least, wow, I filmed this really quickly. I've got the entire it's just the selection series. I got the selection series here because I was also going to do a vlog after reading the first one, reading the entire selection series. And then you know what happened? I never filmed it. Now it's been 4 years, so it's not going to happen. Yep, those are all 200 books that I'm getting rid of. And there will be more. There will be more. I feel like this whole, I literally hate Unhauled because, I mean, I have no problem unhauling books. It's just a pain in the ass. But I feel like whenever I film them, I'm just always so like, I'm getting rid of this. I'm getting rid of this. What do you want to know? Nah, it's gone. Bye. That's it. No, I ain't got much else to say. Now I've got to start, you know, shipping my books out over the next 2 weeks, which is going to be a whole process. So we shall see how this all goes. Wish me luck. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please like button down below if you want to see more of me, who's going to my channel. And don't forget to check me out over on TikTok and Instagram. And until next time, thanks so much everyone. Bye bye.